United States and Australia are sister lands. All around the globe, we are holding hands. Plymouth Rock to Botany Bay, colonists hope for a better way. Sydney Opera House to Broadway, a testament of who we are today. Oh, still have rent to pay, we still have rent to pay. Braintree Park to Honolulu, Utah Arches to Uluru, Bourbon Street Jazz to didgeridoos, our kinship is deep and true. This is how we begin to start atoning for our sin, by creating new expectations for our blemished nations. The Great Barrier Reef to Grand Canyon, from the Everglades to Billabongs, the Cloud Queen cares about everyone. The roller coaster ride is only just begun. This is her cry, debunk, demystify, destigmatize, uniting USA and us. Uniting USA and us. The world is her battleground, her rubber roller coaster goes around, calling all nations with her horn. She is a shooting star out of Melbourne. Miss Shorty is a shooting star out of Melbourne. Shorty connects and unites, debunking all the lies. She leads us in our fight, she's a fucking delight. Grizzly bears eat hikers who are in a rush, and Aussie dingoes steal babies in the bush. The damn beavers live in the brooks, and so does the weird-ass platypus. From Bondi Beach to Miami, Adelaide Hills to Napa Valley, from Kosciuszko to Colorado Snow, Lady Gaga to Kylie Minogue. Miss Shorty connects and unites, our citizens should be made right. She leads us in our fight, she's a fucking delight. This is her cry, debunk, demystify, destigmatize, uniting USA and us. Uniting USA and us. The world is her battleground, her bubble roller coaster goes around, a shooting star out of Melbourne, calling all nations on her bullhorn.
Hey, shorties. Wait. Can you hear me? Tell me you can hear me. Wow, I just saw myself on the screen. Nice hello face. Hello. Thank you for being here, everybody. Hi, Poppy. Poppy says hi. Are you saying hi? Show everybody all your toys everywhere, you weirdo. Hello. Thank you for being here, shorties. We've got our next episode of Let's Talk. And Poppy wants to talk, apparently. One's in the chat. Adam reckons that's awkward. So today, don't forget to press the like button. I know you're all subscribed, but do the YouTubey things, subscribe. And if you have to go, I totally get it. If you've got other things you want to watch, I don't get it. No, I do. But you can always catch the replay. And if you do catch the replay, I'd love you to drop a comment in the comment box after the stream has ended so that it can help get this not so YouTube friendly content out into the algorithm. So that would be amazing. Poppy, yes, I love you. I love you more. Poppy. So today we're going to talk about grief. I think it's something that everyone's experienced. Oh, I know doesn't have to be. Oh, thanks, Galen. Yes, great show with Nurse Kim and Aussie Insider. Amazing women right there. A powerhouse trio, I would like to say, even though I'm putting myself in with that too.
Poppy, you're also a powerhouse trio. Can you please leave me alone? Your claws are very sharp.
Good grief. Good grief, yes. So grief comes in at you sometimes when you least expect it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be traditional, the passing of a loved one. That can, obviously, that's going to give you huge amounts of grief. But you can grieve for other things in life. Grieving can come from the loss of a business relationship, the loss of a job, moving house can give you grief, stress, but we can grieve all sorts of things. So we can think outside of the box here. Yes, Laurie, any loss. Oh, I had that up. And sometimes it's strange and it's easy to gaslight yourself because, hey, Jules, sometimes, even grieving the loss of your health or your mobility or so many things. So anything where you've suffered, where you've experienced a loss can and possibly will, almost likely will, particularly if that aspect of your life has been a huge part of your life, you will experience a sense of loss, and generally with loss comes grief. So I thought it might be helpful to go through. There's something called 7 stages of grief, which is it's not a one-track path. So let me just pull up. Hi, Ruthie. Melinda from Massachusetts. Let me just pull up. So I've got some documents because I'm a proper YouTuber now. So now we have the ability to present the screen and share. I've also linked this document or this article in the description box. So if you are interested in, if you can't see, if you're on your phone and you can't see what's being shown up on the screen well, or if you would like to read over it again because you're someone who likes to read things to let it properly get into the brain, you can do that. It's linked in the description box already. So is that who did it, Laurie? See, look at Laurie knowing all the stuff that I don't know. Oh, wait, it's not letting me do that right now. Hang on. I'm a professional, y'all. All right. So, I probably should have scrolled back first. Hang on. Like I said, profesh. Get it to the start, Lisa. Goodness gracious. All right. Go away. No, I don't like it. You banner, you. Piss off. All right, what do we got? Okay. So here we go. It's not a one-way path. The 7 stages of grief can be a 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It can be a side step. So these are 7 stages that you may well feel in order, out of order, back and forward. You might feel some more strongly than others. And so it's kind of helpful to know that, and again, I can't stress enough, this doesn't just have to be for the passing of a loved one. It can, even grieving, like when I found out that I was autistic, there was some of this wrapped up in here. Not for very long, but it was kind of coming to terms with my previous identity, and which actually wasn't amazing. My self-worth and my feelings of my self-worth was very low, and I had a lot of confusion, but it did take a little while to come to terms with that self-diagnosis or identification. So let me just get to that proper thingo. I am doing it, Laurie. Look at me go. So here we go. I can't see you guys in the chat when I'm on this screen because I'm not as much of a professional as I would like to be. So I've got to go on this screen. So we've got here number one. Well, so they're numbered, but just I guess for ease of identification. Again, this is not necessarily in order, and you will and can and probably likely will experience these in different orders and in different sort of strengths. Number one, shock may happen in most situations, even if we are prepared. So I guess even, for example, having to even resigning from a job that for whatever reason, you might have prepared yourself for it, talked yourself either into it or into agreement, acquiescence. But still, when you finally do resign, there may well be some shock there. Obviously, it's a lot easier to define if we're talking about the loss of a loved one. So whether someone you love passes away suddenly, or there has been a lead up to that, perhaps an illness, still there's shock when it happens. And actually, on that note, if there is a prolonged illness, we may well go through these stages of grieving before that loved one passes away. So this can be a preparation kind of a thing where your mind starts to process the grieving, the imminent grief that's coming this way. So number two, denial. We may not want to believe what is happening because it doesn't feel real. So, I mean, that's relatively self-explanatory. I think we've all heard utterances of people in extreme trauma situations where a loved one has, or perhaps you've even been in that situation where a loved one or somebody you didn't even know, something happens to them, and an accident or something nefarious, a crime, and it's almost impossible to fathom, and your brain simply cannot compute. And number three is anger. This can be hard to express, so finding positive ways to process our emotions. Yes, I guess for me, and I suppose it's for many people, anger comes in a kind of like it's all embroiled inside of you. Anger is a very destructive and toxic emotion, and I have thoughts on anger, but sidebar, in my opinion, the best way to alleviate yourself, maybe not linked to grief, maybe alleviate yourself to the feelings of anger is to accept. And I guess that is linked, because if you're in denial, you're not accepting, right? But if you come to accept whatever the situation is that's making you angry, or the person, to make peace with it, that's but it's a long road to get there sometimes. All right, so what else have we got? Number four, it skips over to I don't like how they've done this, but I guess it's not supposed to be cyclic, so it's probably good that they've not done them in a circle. Number four, bargaining. We may experience feelings of guilt or shame. So in bargaining, I mean, there's that kind of stereotypical thing where, oh, hey, Jeno, stereotypical thing where you're like, God, or whoever you pray to, please, if I'll do anything, I'll bring this person back, change this situation for me. I will do anything. If I had done X, Y, and Z, this might not have happened. So if I could turn back time, please, please, dear God, or whoever, or whoever is the focus of your discussion, I would do anything to go back and change it. And bargaining, obviously, when the loss of a loved one, not necessarily possible, not in the our earthly bodies. We're not Pet Cemetery. And then we've got depression. So, and these can also happen simultaneously. These are not mutually exclusive emotions. So you might feel depressed and angry. You might feel in denial and also depressed. So, or any combinations. So in depression, we may feel a sense of dread, isolation, and anxiety. Stay connected. So that's in general. And so feeling depressed is different to clinical depression. Clinical depression is a prolonged and sort of, it's more than just a bout of depression. Depressive bouts can be part of clinical depression, but they are not the same. So you could feel feelings of depression, but not actually be to the point where your brain chemistry is altered and you're in the state of clinical depression. It might go that way, particularly if we don't have awareness of what depression can look and feel like. And hey, Kat. Hey, everybody. And so knowledge is power. So when we understand these things, anything in life, we're better equipped to manage them, be aware of them, and hopefully help yourself get out of manage them and not get out of them, but the more aware you are, the more ability you have to be, the captain in the ship through this journey of grief. So let me just go back to here. Yeah, Ernie, sorry, I won't go back yet. Ernie, I feel you, babe. I've had a lifetime of chronic depression. I've only spent a little bit of time on antidepressants, SSRIs, and it's a struggle being raw dogging it against propensity towards clinical depression. However, yes, Biffle knows what's what. Biffle's in the house, by the way. So clinical depression, realistically, when you're in a state of clinical depression, your brain has gotten to a point where, so just imagine in life you've got sort of two tracks of normal, healthy, manageable kind of emotional regulation. And so people who aren't experiencing clinical depression manage generally, other than outbursts here and there, and feelings of extreme happiness or extreme sadness occasionally, but generally people stay in between those two tracks. Their emotions might go up and down, but they never crash through those barriers. And then when clinical depression, when the brain chemistry starts to really shift, if you haven't been able to actively, whether it's a lack of awareness or just too much going on or a predisposition towards clinical depression, it starts to be that through those tracks, you're crashing up and down through those, and it's near impossible, if not impossible, physiologically, to mind over matter yourself out of that state, that brain state. You will honestly need some chemical assistance, some pharmaceutical assistance prescribed by your doctor, obviously, and to help you get back into a more healthy range. And I can speak to this from experience that I think I've spoken on this before, but I had after so much trauma and so much going on in my life, and my circumstances were devastating, and I couldn't, there were no options for me. So the suggestion by people in my life, a couple of people who were like, you need to go on antidepressants. And I'm like, well, what's the point? That's not going to change my situation and my circumstances, my life circumstances. And it wasn't going to. And it got to a point where I was like, you know what, dang it. I need something. This is unbearable. My feelings of overwhelm and helplessness and hopelessness were just untenable. I just couldn't anymore. So I went to the GP and my doctor, and they prescribed me a very low dose of Lexapro, which is the same as brain freeze. Somebody Lexapro. It's in my brain. It's right there. You guys call it. It's not Zoloft. Come on now. Anyway, chat. Tell me. Oh my God. It'll come. And so it was amazing. Within less than 2 weeks, probably 10 days of that very low dose, my outlook completely changed. My circumstances had not changed at all, but my feelings of hope had returned. Suddenly I could see a way forward out of this, and I could manage to I could manage to then be a better ship. Lexapro. Yes, Ernie Birdie. What's it called? What do you guys call it? It's got another name. My brain's blanked out. I said it the last time I went to spoke on this. Weed, yes, weed is good for coping. Medical marijuana in Australia, we have much more strict laws. Well, not laws. Like medical, like THC, CBD oil is harder to come by. My pleasure, says Maz. Prozac, thank you, Jeno for the win. Yikes. Got it. Thanks, Jen. So it's quite phenomenal, and how I mean, that's what SSRIs are designed to do. They're designed to tweak the brain chemistry, make sure that your receptors are all allowing for serotonin to come in, and so you can feel some feelings of positivity, and it really does. I cannot stress enough how if you're feeling, yes, Jeno for the win, killing it, girl. So if you know something, but honestly, and I understood, I had taken antidepressants before, and I did understand that that's what they were to do. I come from, I'm the daughter of a physician, and I understood completely. But when I was in that heavy, deep depression, clinical depression, I was so defeatist about it that I had to come to that realization, even though I knew intellectually, objectively, that was always going to be the solution. But it took for me to go, okay, fine. And then I will preach till the end of time how beneficial that stuff is. I was on it for about 6 months, and then I went off it again. There's been a few times since where I've thought, oh, I think maybe I'm sort of starting to lose my. I'm starting to bump up against those, those boundaries, and but as yet I've managed to stay away from it. Not that I have no problem with going back on them. I just feel like I'm doing quite well to not be pulled into clinical depression again, or depressive bouts. And I must say my life circumstances are significantly polar opposites to what they were at that time. So much has happened. That was about 3 years ago. So anyway, that's depression. 6. Yikes, this doesn't work for my eye. Okay, so acceptance and hope. So okay, so in the depression one, it said stay connected, and that's easier said than done sometimes, right? So when you're feeling like sad or depressed, or in a depressive bout, or chronic clinical depression, people say things like, ugh, toxic positivity, right? Let me get back here to you guys. So toxic positivity, let me school you on this, because we don't do that. It's not helpful. It's counterproductive. So toxic positivity is when someone goes, oh, but you always come out on top. Or, I mean, think about it. People have got it worse than you. It's not that bad. Cheer up. Like, you always land on your feet. What about, yeah, it's that does suck. But think about all the good stuff. You know what? Suck my dick. When that's not okay to say that to anybody ever. Let people be in their feelings. It's no one's place to say, hey, but here, look at this, because it's invalidating and it's gaslighting. No one has the right to gaslight anybody, and also it leads to us gaslighting ourselves. If you're experiencing grief, anything you're feeling, it's real for you. Joy, fear, anxiety, that's real for you, and nobody, including you, has the right to sort of diminish that feeling. It's so important to let people be in their feelings, and it's on anyone who tries to lift you up with bullshit toxic positivity. That's their problem. Like, that's because they don't feel comfortable with how you're feeling, and that's fucked, man. Like, that's on them, and it's not cool. And I call people out on toxic positivity all the time. I'm like, that's not helpful. I am feeling this way. How I'm feeling is very real. I just need you to let me feel like that. I will come out of it. But you saying, look on the bright side, blah, 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 whatever it is. I mean, anybody can probably drop in the chat a few phrases that have been said to them over their life, where you're having a shit time about it, and somebody, they're not trying to be mean, they're not trying to be cruel, but intentions, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you think you're trying to say the right thing. Shut up, listen to me. I don't care what your intentions were. Your words are making me feel worse, because your words are making me feel like how I'm feeling at the moment isn't valid, and that's not cool. So I'll drop a link after the stream into the description box about explaining toxic positivity, because it's really helpful if someone's being a dick to you with good intentions, but intentions do not matter. They are irrelevant. It's how it makes you feel. But it's helpful. I've done this before many times, where someone's been like, had said something, and I'm like, it just incenses me to be like, fuck off. How dare you? And so I'll say, have you heard of toxic positivity? And without fail, they'll be like, no, what is that? And I'll go, boom, link, send. And I'm like, and they're like, what are you saying? I'm like, I'm saying that I understand that you think you're trying to be helpful. Toxic positivity is never helpful. It's so detrimental. It's not okay. And the more we tell people what it is, hopefully the less people will utilize toxic positivity as I'm just trying to help. Think on the bright side. Yeah, but think about all the good things you've achieved. Yeah, and right now I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I'm feeling shitty, and I'm feeling sad about things. So let me feel that. That's okay. It's important to sit in your feelings, right? If you don't ever sit in your feelings, you don't ever acknowledge them yourself, how can you ever, work through them and process them? Healing is not linear. Number 7. So finding healthy coping mechanisms and ongoing support is essential. So I saw people in the chat talking about getting sunlight, vitamin D. Yes, sorry. Oh, wait, we're not. It's me being me. Getting sun. They say that not just sunlight, but studies have shown that sunlight on the back of your neck for at least 15 minutes a day will absolutely exponentially heighten your feelings of well-being and in your life and contentedness. So, but like where was it? Laurie said, my mother would tell me to just go for a walk. You'll feel better, and I couldn't get off the couch. And isn't that the quandary, Laurie? Like that. But it's so hard to just get out there. So even small baby steps, even just walking around inside your home. Maybe you don't feel like able to get outside in the sunshine, but if you've got a sunny spot in your house, and get a little bit of sunshine, it's so healing. The Mother Nature is very good for the soul. Kat says, my 2 sons went through depression after my divorce. They didn't like going to their dad's house for their 50-50 custody. So we would drive around for an hour before they would feel ready to go. Yeah, that's tough. It's, divorce and separation of parental, parental relationships can be tough on the children. But you know what? What's tougher is 2 unhappy people staying together and, teaching your children that sometimes you've got to make tough choices that are going to be painful, and to come to, like I always say, you've got to get to peace. You need to go through a state of upheaval and flux. What do they say? You got to have the thunder and the clouds and the rain and the lightning to get to the rainbow. So, Linda, this one's for you, Linda. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sure all of chat is too, and we are here for you. Losing your husband or your wife, I can imagine. I lost my husband suddenly. It was a long time ago, 21 years now. But I get it. I don't know if you are able to or wanting to share some details, if it was the result of an illness, a prolonged illness, something sudden. Those things, the circumstances do affect how able we are to cope with those 7 state, or cope with the grief. But I guess it's the gaping, aching gap in your life, right? He's gone. I'm so sorry. We're here for you. Big hugs in the chat if you remember, because so Linda, I don't know if you're familiar with these 7 stages of grief. Have you had grief counseling? Because after my my husband Robert passed away, it was sudden. Within the space of a few days, he went from being ostensibly healthy and well to being gone. And I did have some grief counseling in the months afterwards. Actually, that grief counseling very quickly turned into my parents. I had a lot more to be honest. I had a lot more to work through with my parents and their toxicity. So the stages are real. Yeah, you can feel it, Phoebe, right? But it's really helpful to like intellectually know that these stages exist. And Linda, again, I go back to you. If you haven't, oh goodness, Linda, that's tragic, darling. We're here for you. And like, this is actually, like, I'm almost crying. This is actually for you. I had more votes on the trauma when I did a poll, but I really felt that Linda needed this one. So that's why we're here. So if you've had some grief counseling, Linda, I presume they would have. Sorry if you can hear anything. My dogs are snoring just right there. It's Buster. I'm happy he's sleeping soundly. So let me. These are the 7 stages of grief. As I said, I will put this. Or it already is linked in the description box. But let me just read through here to elaborate on each stage. Shock. And I'm sorry. I'm not proficient enough to know how to enlarge the screen and shit. One day maybe I'll be Emily D. Baker and I'll be able to do this stuff. But for now, just be happy we've got documents. Okay, so the shock stage of grief after the initial response to a significant loss. There it is. It's loss. They're not talking in terms of necessarily death or the loss of a loved one. Any loss in life involves a range of emotional and physical reaction. We may experience emotional numbness, characterized by feelings of disbelief and denial, as the reality of the loss hasn't fully set in yet. Yes. Physical reactions such as a racing heart, dizziness, nausea, or a sense of feeling physically cold can also occur. Right on. During this stage, we may feel disoriented and may have difficulty concentrating, making decisions, or processing information. Emotional outbursts, including sudden and intense episodes of crying or anger, may happen unexpectedly, and this is okay. I'm just going to pause there for a moment to say, for me, when my husband passed away, and I felt a lot of guilt about this. I don't now, but it's been a lot of water under the bridge. I never had a day of crying. I felt like I wasn't grieving how I should be grieving. And it took me a long time to come to terms or to appreciate and accept that I'm a compartmentalizer. I'm very good at putting things in boxes and leaving them for, not forever. I unpack them eventually, but leaving them for when I'm ready to do that, and so I can focus on the task at hand. And I buried myself in busy work from the jump. As soon as Robert passed away, I was getting our house ready for sale because I couldn't live there anymore. I just couldn't think of it. Sold my car, all the things. So I busied myself, and busy work in making sure that you are always productive all the time, never giving yourself any quiet time, any downtime, any self time. That's a sign of unprocessed trauma. So if you're someone who is chronically busy, always doing stuff, saying yes to everything, like not even in relation to grief, but if it might be that probably you've got some, yes, type A personalities, but if it might be that you want to do a little bit of soul searching to think, what am I running from? What am I staying busy with, so that I am not inclined to spend any time with my thoughts? Because we all need relaxation and downtime. And if you don't give that yourself that grace and that time, that care, that self-care, you can quite quickly disintegrate. So, Laurie, I lost my fiance. It physically hurt my heart. Talk about him to as many people who will listen to you. This helped me with his death, as well as my daughter's death. Linda. Yeah, I'm sending that to Linda. Laurie, that's tough. You know what's hard about, again, going back to that toxic positivity and people feeling discomfort with your emotions. And so they try to push it away by saying bright, sunny, lollipops and rainbows and sparkles and bullshit. The thing I find tough with when I talk about my husband is that people are generally not used, because I'm sure you can imagine I'm a fucking delight. I'm always, because I've dealt with it, and I just say it, and I always just said it. I just say it. My husband passed away, and people, I'm actually more concerned with how my delivering of that, whatever I say, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, how it's going to make them feel. And that's on them as well. But, people, the more we talk about these things and feel okay with hearing things, not trauma dumping. I'm not going to tell everybody I'll try not to tell everybody the whole bloody awful story, but a fact is a fact is a fact. And my husband did pass away when we were both 27, and it sucked. It was fucking awful. And I guess my blunt delivery doesn't always help, because people are like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, no, it's okay. It happened years ago. And they're like, fuck, this bitch is cold as ice. I'm not. I'm actually a very warm person, but I'm also very frank. It's a blessing and a curse. All right, so where do we get up to? Okay, this stage serves. Okay, so emotional outbursts, including sudden and intense episodes of crying or anger, may happen unexpectedly, and this is okay. This stage serves as the body's way of initially protecting itself from the full impact of the loss, allowing us to gradually absorb the reality of what has happened. For me, so this is the author saying here, this stage can last a few days. That's nice. It could last a long time. But yeah, usually shock is an initial response. Yeah, it's like a crisis response. I guess that makes sense. I wish I had a tissue. I've got boogers. How this the author copes with this is they put their trust in the universe and let the process do its thing. If you're a person of faith, put your trust in that. Whatever you are into, it does help to surrender the problem over to something else and try to go with the flow. Or all the feels on this one. So, the only effect that stressing over things and ruminating on things that you are not able to change and potentially aren't your problem to stress about, the only effect that has on you is to make your existence tougher, miserable. So rabbit, yes, hey bunny. Train of thought, saw the rabbit. Oh, a rabbit. Oh, damn it, my brain. Rabbit, you threw me. No, you didn't, I love you, girl. I'm sure it'll come back to me. Lol, maybe. Phoebe, what did I miss here? Oh, okay, here we go. Phoebe. Yes, I lost my brother this past January. I spent most of the summer Karen Reed trial sobbing. Yeah, so see, that's the opposite to me, Phoebe. Isn't it interesting how and I'm so sorry for your loss. Again, we are here for you. This is your community. This is our community. Biffle, stop it now. You're a good man, Biffle. There's no trolling Biffle. He's the best. Phoebe, again, I'm so sorry that you're having to. It's very recent for you, also. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I know chat was sending all the hugs. We have a hugs emoji there that people are dropping in the chat if you are a member. If you're not, you can do just the regular emoji, the regular hugs emoji. Interesting how for me almost no crying, for you almost, constant sobbing. Either way, that's how we deal with grief. Doesn't look the same for any one single person, right? I hope that maybe having the Karen Reed trial and all of the content around helped you a little bit, Phoebe, with taking your mind off things. I know that's a stupid thing to say, but just giving you a little bit of external focus rather than letting yourself be all up in your head. And that's really important. It's so easy to go inwards, and some people have got more of a propensity to that, obviously, and other people are very much seek for things externally. Whatever you can do that isn't self-destructive and toxic, so go, heading to the bottle or the pill bottle or illicit drugs. I mean, I know there's lots of weed smokers in here. Y'all, probably the majority. Not me. I used to be, but not these days. Oh, rabbits. So many things I love about you, rabbits. Yeah, getting out and doing something other than just wallowing if you can. But even if you can't, if wallowing is what you need to do, then do it. Like, do it. Whatever works for you, right? Before, yeah. Memories. It's sometimes even in the very early stages after loss of a loved one, there can still be laughter. I know, like very quickly after my husband passed away, his family and I were able to share laughs about my husband. I mean, I'm sure it was bittersweet. It was bittersweet. It still is bittersweet. Yeah, gaslighting. Okay, do you mean your brother who passed, Phoebe, or another brother? Gaslighting is a shitty thing for anyone to do to anyone, and for anyone to do to themselves. Don't ever diminish how you or anyone else is feeling. It's not helpful. It's not helpful. Don't make light of how someone's feeling, or don't let someone else. I mean, we could go on and on gaslighting, and it's a bit of a buzzword these days, right? But it's buzzword for a reason. We're all many of us are coming to understand and appreciate what gaslighting is. And knowledge is power. Once we know about the things, we can look for it, identify it, head it off, ward it off, and avoid it in something like gaslighting, both doing it ourselves, to others, and being a victim of gaslighting, because fuck that. Hard pass. I call people out all the time. Boundaries are really important for gaslighting. You like, don't gaslight yourself into thinking that you're not being gaslit. So tricky. All right, let's go. Shock. So what did this say? Shock. A sudden loss can be a real shock to the system, especially if everything has changed suddenly, and even if we're prepared. So Linda, I guess this is for you, and Phoebe, I'm not sure how your brother passed, if it was sudden, but a sudden death is even more confronting because you haven't had a chance to go through any of the 7 stages of grief beforehand. If you came in late, it is very, particularly with a prolonged illness or knowing that an imminent loss is coming, whether it's moving to a new place, having to move out of a home you've loved, family home, selling a family home. We can grieve losses before they happen if we're prepared for them. But if we're not prepared for them, the shock really hits hard, right? We may have intrusive thoughts, suffer nightmares, feel disconnected or anxious. So the advice here is to stay connected with those around us for support, a counselor, therapist, family, friends, neighbors, and most importantly, IMO, be kind to yourself and take things slowly. That's so important. Everybody's grieving looks different. Everybody, go at your own pace. Don't rush yourself. So actually, I'm going to pause on there. So when I was doing my 5 years, actually, maybe I'm exaggerating. It might have been like almost 5 of shadow work, no music, no radio. It wasn't in conjunction to, it was dealing with trauma, right? But I had a lot of compound trauma, a lifetime of it, but then in particular in the space of about 5 years, a lot. And friends, gaslighty people would sort of say to me, Lisa, Shorty. No, they said Lisa. Actually, they probably said Sky because that was my working name then, and hardly anybody identified me as being Lisa. Anyway, like, stop wallowing. Stop. You like, get over it. Get over it. Like, you know what? Here, found this for you. But I knew, like, just in myself, not even necessarily consciously, that there was no rushing that process. And that I would be kind to myself, spend however long I needed in doing that inner work, that shadow work. I called it at the time licking my wounds, which I guess it was a little bit, but that's a kind of a negative connotation. I was depressed, clinically depressed. But so I spent all the time, I gave myself the grace. I knew in myself that I will know when I'm ready to stop the shadow work, to stop the grieving process. I was grieving for myself. I was grieving for what I had lived through trauma-wise, how the betrayal, like all the things, trigger warnings all over the place, everything you could think of. Yes. Sign me up for it, apparently. All in a very, not everything, but it felt like everything at the time. And it's interesting that there came a time after about 4.5, 5 years where I suddenly was like, I'm okay. I'm good now. Okay. I can look forward again, as in look forward vision rather than rear view mirror or in the moment. So being kind to yourself and taking the time you need is so important in any sort of processing of anything, but particularly in grief. All right, we got denial. The denial stage of grief is a defense mechanism that helps us cope with the initial shock of a loss. During this stage, we may struggle to accept the reality of the situation, often thinking or saying that it can't be true or that there's been a mistake. This belief can manifest in various ways, such as avoiding conversations about the loss, refusing to acknowledge its impact, or continuing life as if nothing has changed. Denial serves as a buffer, giving our minds time to adjust to the overwhelming emotions associated with the loss. It allows us time to process the reality of a situation more gradually, preparing us to face the next stages of grief with greater emotional resilience. True, yeah? Like your brain's going, no, not ready yet. And it holds you back there. The human brain is amazing. I froth over this shit. How the author copes with this stage is to rely on healthy coping mechanisms. The worst thing I could do for myself during this stage is sit and binge Netflix. I mean, Netflix, no. YouTube, yes. Fine. acquiescing begrudgingly. Maybe you shouldn't just sit there and watch telly, but if you want to, do it. Or drink alcohol. Yeah, no, try not to self-medicate with substances. But if you do, no shame. Hashtag drug addict for the rest of my life. Well, I always consider myself to be addicted but just practicing sobriety with the best of my abilities. Ugh, sucks. The author intensely looks after their mental and physical health during this stage, eating well if you can. Although I know it's everyone, comfort food are always a big thing, a big draw card, yeah. But healthy food, you are what you eat. Honestly, if you can eat a rainbow of healthy fresh foods, a balanced diet, not too much stuff that's as close to its original existence. So if it's in a packet, in a box with a list of ingredients, not amazing. She says, with the 2 vapes, hey, you gotta have a vice. But things that are as close to their natural state. So fresh fruit and vegetables, or frozen, like whatever you can do, but like vegetables, meat if you eat meat, grains, all the things. If you need to treat yourself with a little bit of like chocolate or whatever, you should do what you got to do. But honestly, eat well, feel better. It really makes a difference. You won't feel physically, internally as sluggish if you have vibrant, bright foods that you're putting into your body. And so if your brain has got the right fuel, it's going to be better equipped to cope with these intense emotions that you'll be feeling in grief and just in life in general. Like 100%. All right. What does she say here? If a thought comes into my mind, this could be an intrusive thought. So intrusive thoughts, that doesn't necessarily mean suicidal ideation. Maybe thoughts about, playing over, scenarios in your head, remembering the last moments with your loved one, thinking of things that you could have or should have done differently. There's no point. Regret is a pointless emotion. It's just going to eat away at your soul. You can't turn back time. So those things, try not to let yourself ruminate on stuff, particularly when you're grieving. Like sit in the thoughts, but don't let them grab a hold of you, which she just says then. I let it come and go without grabbing hold of it. So acknowledge those things, but try not to let them snowball. That way I'm not ignoring it, nor am I buying into it. Let thoughts come and go and keep looking after your health. I find I can move through this stage by saying to myself that I accept what has happened and focus on the positive things I have in my life currently. I mean, yes. I might maybe disagree with that a little bit. Like, I feel like that's a little bit trying to be all gaslighting yourself with the toxic positivity. So Biffle. When I was doing chemo, I was a little bitch sometimes. Can't imagine it, Biffle. A 12-year-old sat next to me in the porta. I don't know what that means. And a kid. He was stoic. He'd been fighting leukemia for 4 years. It woke me up. I stopped whining. Yeah, fair. Some perspective is always helpful in life in general, but at the same time, yes, this kid doing it tough, and I hope he's okay. I don't know if you know the outcome there, but for me, there's no hierarchy of trauma or suffering. Everyone's trauma is their own. Everyone's suffering, everyone's grief is their own, and it's valid and real. Yeah. So for me, it's a bit of a toxic positivity thing and gaslighting yourself. I used to have a friend who was doing it so tough. She had Crohn's, like Karen Reed, and she had to have intestinal surgery. Her mother had dementia or Alzheimer's, and had a stroke. She was financially struggling, so many things. She was on methadone for 20 years as a previous heroin addict. And like, I'd be like, babe, she's also not a friend anymore because she's also a narcissistic piece of shit. But didn't stop me from trying to, like, she'd say, oh, you know, I know. But there are people who've got it so much worse than me. I'm like, yeah, but are they you? Are they living your life? If it's hard for you right now, then it's fucking hard for you right now, yeah? So I think give yourself some grace and don't gaslight yourself. Yes, other people's sufferings and traumas and what they're surviving, living through, dealing with, if you were to rank them, I don't know, maybe. But for you in your life, if that's making you feel a certain way, then that's real. It's just simple. So give yourself that grace, yeah? And we grieve differently from different people. Yeah, we do. All right, let's keep going with this article. What does she say here? Oh, where's my mouse? Okay, denial. Because it's such a shock, we might not want to accept that it's happened. Yeah, fuck. But acceptance is everything, yeah? Acceptance is key in life, I reckon. It is what it is, right? It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. Our brain is trying to process what's happened. This can cause confusion, rumination, it's a buzzword there, of thoughts, concentration problems, trouble sleeping, etc. Look after your basic needs and focus on the things you can control, like your diet and how much exercise you do. Write down how you're feeling, but try not to get stuck in the past and seek help when needed. And with grief, particularly grief, loss, big stuff. If you don't already have a therapist or a counselor someone you talk to, if you're experiencing grief, I can't stress enough how helpful it can be probably Ernie. Everybody does. People all do it all the time because we're not supposed to. Okay, so here's the thing with gaslighting yourself. Sorry, gotta have a vape. People, we've got that in our Western culture, first world countries. We're kind of, particularly US folk. I think there's a lot of stoicism and what you should do is to suck it up, to be grateful for what you've got. We have, I mean, you guys Australian too, like we're the lucky country and you guys have got the great American dream, right? Like you're trying to, so it's pretty common for people to think that what they should be saying and doing is to be positive and don't be negative. And it's all in the mindset. Bullshit. Mindset matters, but also reality matters. And if shit's shit, then shit's shit. And it's really important to let yourself feel that and acknowledge that, and don't try to push it away because it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. 1 quadrillion %. That's my favorite number, quadrillion. It's 15 zeros. It's so good. Best word, best denomination. Yes, Jess, you do carry grief. So particularly if you don't ever spend the time acknowledging grief of whatever it is, it's so important to process through all this stuff so that you can come out of this cycle. Like of course I miss my husband, and I love him dearly still 21 years later. I'm not in any of this. It's just, wistful and fond memories and a sadness for what could have been. But it's been a long time now for me. I did a lot of processing as far as my 5 years of grieving the trauma and experiences I lived through for about those 3 or 4 years, I guess it was. I grieved that very actively and consciously. I did the shadow work. I spent a lot of time coming to terms with all those things, aka acceptance. And now I am where I am now, and those things don't pull on me anymore because I did the work. But I can see a world where I hadn't instinctively known that I needed to do that work and proactively done that work, that I would still be bogged down by it. And I'm not. I've learned and I've grown because I processed all these things. and I allowed myself that grace and gave myself the grace and the time and the kindness, I call it give yourself a soft place to fall. Don't be too hard on yourself. So if you have a support network of people around you, whether that's traditional family, a circle of family and friends, colleagues, a best friend, a community like this. If you don't have all of those things, and sometimes those people don't know necessarily quite the right things to say or how to give you a soft place to fall, a place to just work through all of this, it's important for you to give that to yourself and being kind to yourself. So I always call it a soft place to fall until you're ready to get back up again, because nobody needs to fall on hard line, hard love. Buck up. It's not that bad. Yeah, it fucking is. All right. Ashley, free and read, yeah. Ashley was one of my the trio. Good to see you, Ashley, at our Melbourne standout last weekend. Yikes, time flies. Was it? Yeah, wow, last weekend. We'll be doing the next one on the 10th of November, worldwide, by the way, sidebar. The next, I'm doing the world. Paul Cristoforo can organize America, whatever. I'll do the rest of the world, yeah. 10th of November, 10 a.m., wherever you are, one person, two persons, 50 people, whatever. 10th of November, save the date, right? We're doing it. From little things, big things grow, team. All righty, what do we got here? Denial. Okay, we've got more. Anger. Rawr. The anger stage of the grief process can be explained by intense feelings of frustration and helplessness, often directed toward various things. We may feel anger at ourselves, others, or the situation itself, questioning the fairness and reason behind the loss or the bad situation. 100%, mate. Like my parents, yeah, they're fuckheads. Like I have no contact with them. I wouldn't probably anyway, but they disowned me about 8 years ago. And fine, bye. Thanks for not coming ever again. And I have a lot of reason to be furious with them. They're fuckheads. Dare I say, see you next Tuesday. They're horrible people, absolute narcissists. They abandoned me in my most deepest times of need over the years, many times, because it wasn't right for them. It didn't feel good for them, and they did not understand me or the way I am, because I'm an empath, an extreme empath, and they're both extreme narcissists. Anyway, the things, the injustices, the unfairness, the way they treated me, the way they turned their back on me, like, and I'm getting heated by it now, but not because like, it is what it is. You can never expect someone else. I said this to Adam the other day. You can never, like, one of my best advice I can ever give to someone is that never expect anyone else to make your priorities their priorities, because they have their own priorities. Yeah. They're doing their thing. You also you can only affect how you handle yourself. You can't affect change in anybody else. You can try, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So feeling frustrated, angry about, pissed off that something is unfair, even when it is unfair, like give yourself the time to work through it, but it's just going to eat you alive. Like, you can't change it. People are going to do what they're going to do. And a situation is what a situation is, particularly when you're grieving the loss of something. So acknowledge those feelings, but it's really important in that anger period in any loss, in any processing of any situation, to work through the anger and then let it go, baby. Elsa, let it go. Okay, so sorry, that stupid banner. As we might find ourselves asking, why me? Or how could this happen? As we struggle to make sense of their pain. The anger stage serves as an emotional outlet, allowing us to release pent-up feelings that we may not yet fully understand. While it can be a turbulent period, experiencing anger is a natural part of grieving and can eventually lead to a deeper understanding of and acceptance of the loss. Yes. It's also a good outlet, yeah? Punch a pillow, go into a boxing class, I don't know, scream into a pillow, play music at the top of your, loud as, and sing it as loud as you can. bang on a set of drums. There are places that are demolition houses where you can go and take a baseball bat and put on all like protective gear and just bash things, destroy television stuff just to get rid of some of that shit. Don't punch anyone unless it's punching a proctor. We can either be angry at ourselves or someone else during this stage, but holding on to this anger. See how wise I am? I actually haven't read this. I only read the dot points. I'm like, I'll just read it on screen. I'm a fucking delight, mate. But holding on to this anger will ultimately only harm our own health. Find ways to learn to let go of where the anger is directed. This could mean forgiving a personal situation that has caused the loss. It's not easy, but it does help us feel better in the short term. Everything takes time, and this includes getting over the anger. Channel frustration into positive things. The author spends a lot of time in nature and moving when angry about a situation. This not only helps me release feelings of angst within my body, but it also helps me come up with solutions to problems. Good point. I'm just going to go back to that forgiveness thing. You know, some people don't deserve our forgiveness. Not grudges. I don't do grudges. I'm not into retribution or payback or but you don't have to move on from something. You don't necessarily have to forgive. I think it's more about accepting, because forgiving someone, if they've actively done something that hurt you or negatively impacted you, why should you? Fuck that. They did that. Hey, Nosy Rosie, good to see you. So, I mean, if forgiveness is your thing, and if it's part of your faith and your spiritual, like I don't hate anyone, but there's some people that can basically suck my dick. I'm never going to forgive you. I'm done with you. It is what it is. You fucked me over. Bye. Just see ya. See ya. Oh, Tish, thank you for becoming a member. Yay, Shorty. Hey, Shorty's in the chat. Yay. And Zach. Oh, my Lord. Look out. Zach's here. Hey, Zach. Mods, Zach is not a troll. Zach's the best. Okay, so forgive if that's if that's how you like to do it, but you don't have any obligation to forgive people. If they fucked you over, just move on. Move forward, onwards and upwards. We don't need to forgive people. You don't have to. That's stupid. Do what you got to do, mate. So anger, it can be hard to express anger in a positive way. Facts. We may want to hide how we're feeling. Bad idea. Channel feelings of anger into healthy coping mechanisms. Being in nature can help with this. Whatever. I don't know. Play an instrument. Do some craft. Do something that makes you feel good, yeah? If you can. Just I don't know. We should do an anger hotline. We should make a phone call like OB's apology hotline. We should do a fuck this shit hotline. I'll get a burner. I'll set the line up. I'll tell you guys. Continue to reach out for support. Be patient with ourselves. They're in everyone, aren't they? So true. All right. Bargaining. The beginning stage of the grief process, the bargaining stage, sorry, my bad. I'm blind. The bargaining stage of the grief process involves trying to regain a sense of control and prevent the loss or its consequences. In this stage, we may find ourselves making deals or promises, either to a higher power or to ourselves, like in an attempt to reverse or change the situation. We might think, if only I had done something differently, or I promise to change if this can be undone. Bargaining often reflects a deep sense of guilt or responsibility as we replay scenarios in our minds, searching for ways we could have influenced or changed the outcome. This stage is marked by a mixture of hope and desperation as we hold on to the possibility of altering the reality of our loss. Although it can be emotionally taxing, bargaining is a crucial part of the grieving process. Sorry, one thing at a time. Helping us to confront our feelings of vulnerability. Being vulnerable is really important. You don't have to always be a tough bitch. What? I am, but I'm also very vulnerable, and I allow myself that time whenever I need it. Helping ourselves during the bargaining stage of grief involves acknowledging and addressing the complex emotions we experience, accepting that it is natural to feel guilt, responsibility, and desperation is crucial, allowing these emotions without judgment. The author likes to seek support from friends, family, but we can also seek support from support groups to share our thoughts, which can provide comfort and perspective. Expressing herself through journaling, art, and other creative outlets has helped me process emotions in a healthy way. So when I realized that I was autistic, I had nobody. Like I had no family, no friends, just a bunch of like drug friends, aren't real friends, yeah. Some hanger-oners from a previous life. I wasn't anymore in the drug world, but you know, the last vestiges of that world. And so I had no support. And even though it was a positive realization that I am autistic, um, uh, um, for me, the support I found, I didn't have the resources to get a therapist or counseling or even the bandwidth. I was homeless for starters. And anyway, so for me, the support that I found invaluable was I joined a group on Facebook called, then it was called the Australian Autistic Women's Group. It's changed its name now. It's far more politically correct. And I don't think I'm even a member on that group anymore. But that community, finding a bunch of people who knew on some level what I was, you know, they were like me. They were my tribe. So yeah, it makes a difference. Oh, wait, forgiving doesn't mean you have to have that person in your life. It means I don't give that person free rent in my head. Yeah, fair. I guess for me, yeah, fair. Nobody lives rent free in my head at all. I just, once I'm done, watch out, mate. I'm the epitome of fuck around and find out. Yeah, I dare anybody. Sorry, actually, wait, Cat had I didn't see this. What did it say? Cat. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Oh my God, hang on. What am I doing? Miss Shorty, you need to come to Angry Bitch Club on Wednesdays and bring your crew. Yes, everyone. Kat, drop a link to your channel in the chat. Kat is got a fledgling channel, amazing, Social Change Warriors. And it's for men and women, but Angry Bitch Club on Wednesdays is basically, is it an airing of grievances? Sort of. No, it's amazing. So I'm often... I'm always at work and it's tricky for me and often moderating for other channels at the same time. So I'm sorry, Kat, I haven't been able to get there, but drop a link in the chat, Kat, and everyone go and subscribe to Social Change Warriors using this link because there's 2 Social Change Warriors and I was subscribed to the wrong one for a while there. Yikes. Standard Lisa. Bullshit. Linda, Nosy Rosie, I stopped bargaining a long time ago. I learned that it doesn't work. No, that's right. I guess that's what this document is saying, or this article is saying, is that it's a part of the process, but generally it's only a short-lived part. B. Allen, I'm not a crier. Sometimes I wish I could have a good cry and get it out, the emotions. Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't cry often. Like I cry, not like boohoo crying. I'll cry like I was almost crying before when Linda shared her passing of loss of her husband 11 months ago in the chat a while ago. Crying can be really, really cathartic, and there are times when I will sob and boohoo and ugly cry, like ugly cry. For me, there's an issue if I let myself get to that point. I often then all of my like it moves all of the your mucus in your sinuses and stuff, and then I'll end up with not just snotty nose at the time. I'll end up with probably an epic migraine for the next few days, and my skin, like I'm prone to acne on my skin. Not so much these days, but still. And when I have a big meltdown, emotional outburst. I'm going to cry now too. Good, Ernie. When I have an emotional outburst, like not outburst, that's the wrong word. When I let myself, when things get to the point where I have to have a giganto cry, I know I'm going to have a migraine for a few days afterwards, and I'm going to end up with fucking disgusting zits. So if I can do anything to manage myself out of not getting to that point, but crying's amazing, really. Who's the troll? Wait, what troll? Did you say troll? Mods, do we have a chat? Do we have a troll? Anyway, what do we got? Big hugs. Bargaining, we got through that one. Whoa. All right, what do we got? Oh, another one. Another really good strategy is to practice self-compassion and recognize that you did the best you could with the resources available at the time is important. This has been central to my personal development during really tough times. Giving yourself a soft place to fall, and land. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I did the best at the time. Focusing on small, manageable tasks can help us regain a sense of control and purpose. Engaging in mindfulness or meditation, however that looks for you. It doesn't have to be, like sitting with your legs crossed, chanting, can keep you present and reduce anxiety about the past or the future. I draw mandalas, circular designs. They're pretty average, but that's art therapy is amazing for me. I did a lot of art therapy in January and February, December, January, February, a lot. I've got a whole book of them. These strategies can aid in processing feelings and moving towards healing during the bargaining stage of grief. So we did that bargaining. We might say things like, if only I did, or I should have. It can be an attempt to gain some control back over the situation. Futile, but still, it's an attempt. We may start worrying and overthinking the future. Some ways we can get through this stage is to acknowledge the grief, honor the grief, write down thoughts, engaging in positive content, and listening to an audiobook. Yes, seeking support when needed. Graham Hancock, even, if you wanted to. So I've just got to check here if I've got I'm supposed to have John Como. Damn, I don't think John Como has remembered that we've got a stream in at you guys 7:30 your time, like in half an hour. Anyway, if not, that's okay. We'll reschedule. Your girl did 6 hours of live streaming yesterday, and I've got another one scheduled for later. So maybe it's a blessing. It means we don't have to rush this. We'll keep going. We may start worrying and overthinking the future. Some ways we can get through this stage is to acknowledge the grief, honor the grief. Oh, good. This was written by either a UK or an Australian writer. They've spelled the words correctly. Honor, Honour. Love it. Write down thoughts, engaging in positive content, like listening to an audiobook. Sorry, I said that. Again, focusing on the things we can control helps. Focusing on the things we can control helps, like lots of self-care activities that help give us the strength to start healing. Girl needs me to edit this for her. She needs some punctuation. Depression. Okay, so depression is a stage of grief marked by profound sadness and a sense of deep loss as the reality of the situation fully sets in. Yes. During this stage, we may feel overwhelmed by feelings of emptiness, hopelessness, and despair. We might want to withdraw from social activities and isolate ourselves, finding little pleasure in things that once brought us joy. Yeah, isn't that awful? It's awful. Sorry, need my nicotine. Physical symptoms such as fatigue, changes in appetite, and that might be more appetite or less. Some people lose stacks of weight when they're in grief. I personally, wait, here we go, sidebar. When I was I was very tiny already. I was tiny. I'm like an elephant these days compared to how I was in my 20s. I mean, probably weren't we all? But before my husband passed away, I was tiny, and we were heavy weed smokers. So, Megan, hello. Oh my God, my mild dyslexia read that as my kids are dead in the pool. Jesus, Megan, don't come in with that one. So as I said before, I went into busy work. I got working, mate. I got our house ready for sale in 6 weeks, and worked from dawn till dusk. Yes. But part of my grief was I couldn't, not only could I not, and I smoked a fuckload of weed, mate. Oh, yikes. Self-medicating. It worked. But it also affected my appetite in addition to the grief. And I was already tiny, like size, what do you call, like I was like a size 1 or 2 US sizes, like a 6 in Australian sizes. And because I couldn't eat anything. I just had no appetite. I physically couldn't, and I couldn't even drink water. I got down by the time my husband had been passed away for 6 months, I was 32 kilos. So Australians know what that is. It's about, it's like a little bit more than double. So 70 pounds? No, yeah, about 75 pounds tops. Yikes, I looked like I was dying. And my delightful mother, she's like, Lisa, you need to start eating properly. People are looking at me. You look like you're dying. People are staring at me, at her. Fuck. Righto, mum. Cheers. Lovely lady. Anyway, I eventually put on some weight over the years. And, but yeah. So, but also people may overeat and find solace and comfort in food. So, it can take all forms. Difficulty sleeping are also common, or you might feel like all you want to do is sleep. This stage is characterized by introspection, so looking inward into yourself, and a heightened awareness of the permanence of the loss, leading to a period of mourning and reflection. I know, and I presume this is very similar for Phoebe and for Linda and for anyone else who's experienced grief, loss of a loved one recently. One of the biggest things for me is I just was so angry and devastated by, I guess, angry about it. So this is anger. The fact that the world had just kept turning. My world had stopped and everything was normal. The newspaper was still coming out with, back in the day when there's papers, with headlines of things happening, people going about doing their normal things. And I was like, this is ridiculous. But also just coming to terms with the devastation of the fact that every morning I'd wake up and the first thing I'd think, every morning was, Robert's dead. For years. And my sleep suffered because I would stay up later and later and as late as I could because I just didn't want to go to bed, because once I was asleep, when I'd wake up, I'd have to go through that again and start the whole day from the beginning. It was tough, yeah. Zach, you're 100% autistic, babe. Same. Welcome to the tribe. Google it. Autistic in presentation in adult males. So many of this community are, without a doubt, neurodivergent. And I love you all, every one of you, because of it. And it's a superpower and it's something to be harnessed. There is no shame. It's something to be proud of. But I can spot you all a mile away. Pumpkin spice lattes. Did I see that? Oh, that looks delicious. Ernie, are you baking? Ernie? Yeah, Linda. Darling, your world is like a standstill, right? And the world around you is still spinning. It's not fair, yeah? It sucks. But it sucks. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to toxic positivity you out of it. That's what you're feeling, and you will feel like that for as long as you feel like that. And we're here for you while you're feeling like that. We're here for you. If you need us to help you get your world moving a little bit in some way, even if it's just to be here, take your mind off it, or to support you and listen to you, we're here. My email is in my description, Linda, if you want to ever email me. I might not always respond immediately, and that goes for all of you. Everybody, contact me on Facebook, Twitter, DM, or email me. I do have a lot of communications, and I do try to stay on top of it. Or Discord, if you remember. Actually, anybody in here. Hey Adam, can you please drop a link to my Discord in the chat, please? An invite, is that okay, babe? Because anyone here, like our Discord communities, mine and Adam's and OB's, is just the most loving, welcoming, inclusive. There's no bullying, there's no bullshit, and we can talk there. So whatever way, if you need to talk to me, please reach out. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And you know, I'm here for you guys. That's why we're doing this. Thanks, Adam. You're the best. Okay. Belinda, we are here for you. Phoebe, we are here for you. All of you, I am here. We are here. This is our community. Shorties that's what we're doing here. This is what we're creating, is a safe space, a safe, supportive, open-minded, inclusive, loving, kind place. That's what Camp Shorty is all about, always. All right. So while deeply painful, the depression stage is a crucial part of the grieving process. It allows us to, fuck off. Sorry, swearing in the middle of a really important bit. Allowing us to confront and process the grief, another typo, lady, the grief on a deeper level, paving the way for eventual acceptance and healing. Helping ourselves during the depression stage of grief involves taking proactive steps to care for our mental and physical well-being. And that's really hard. That's easier said than done, but do your best. It's the best you can do in life in general, but particularly when you're grieving. Be kind to yourself and make sure you surround yourself with people who are also kind. You don't need to have someone telling you to buck up, chin up, and you'll be fine, and just no matter whatever. Shut that shit down. Assert your boundaries. You have every right to, and you will, and don't gaslight yourself if you can. Acknowledging or accepting our feelings of sadness and despair is crucial, allowing us to experience these emotions without self-judgment. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't give yourself that grace. Seeking support from trusted friends and family, and doing regular physical activity if you can. Even gentle exercises like walking, even get out in the garden, potter around the house with your plants, play a game with your dogs, walk up and down the steps in your stairs inside your house. That's what I started doing, just to get myself moving in the depths of my depression after Robert died. And then I found the bandwidth, the energy to start going to the gym. And I ended up, I used to be a gym junkie back in the late 80s, early 90s, with G-string leotards and bike pants underneath. I've still got them all. They wouldn't look any good these days. But and then I got back into the gym and I ended up becoming a personal trainer. I do things never in halves, always 112%. Try to stick to a routine, including regular sleep patterns and healthy food. Again, easier said than done, as this helps greatly. It does. It absolutely does. Sleep hygiene is so crucial. If you struggle with sleep, any of you, whether you're in grieving or not, I can't recommend highly enough melatonin. 10 milligrams, get it from iHerb or it's so good. Oh my God. Fall asleep more fast. I fall asleep at the dinner table these days, so I don't need it at the moment, but literally. Your sleep quality is better. You don't wake up as much and you feel more rested in the morning. Cannot recommend melatonin highly enough. Don't get any expensive shit prescribed by your doctor. Just get the 10 milligrams of iHerb or similar, a bottle of 120 for $15. Best thing. If the depression feels too intense or prolonged, seek professional help from a therapist or counselor, as this can provide valuable guidance and support, especially when times are really rough. These strategies are ones I try myself and can help us navigate the depression stage of grief, fostering resilience and helping the healing process. Whoop, go away. Depression. Try to remember there is always someone there to help us. Not necessarily, but if you're blessed and you've got some people, but here we know what? Yes, there is. What am I saying? Camp Shorty, we're here. We are here for you. Our Discord servers, email. Discord is nice because everybody can get in there and chat. And in the chats, these live chats. Comment sections after the video. Sweet. Sometimes we don't know just how strong we are until we are faced with an emotionally challenging situation or event. Oh, amen. Preach, lady, preach. Oh, thank you, Zach. Find someone to be a blessing to. Get your mind off yourself. Yes. Save my life. Enough fifis. 100%. 100%. And now I've forgotten what I was going to come back because I was like, preach, sister. So people always said to me along the way, but thank you, Zach, by the way. Hey, look, it matches my shirt. Free Karen Reed. I've got a free Karen Reed shirt on, and John Como is going to stand me up. Damn it. Rude. Whatever. It's all good. People would always say to me, I can't believe how strong you are. I'm like, well, I have to be. Well, what's the alternative? I can't crawl up in a ball. What am I going to do? You just do it. You don't want to have to do it, but yes. Ruthie, miracle. It takes a little, it takes about the same amount of time as getting on antidepressants. So about five or 7 days, you have to take it consecutively, and it builds up in your system, and stuff, and it's so good. So it has like a cumulative effect. It's like you take it, and then your body goes, okay, enough melatonin. Take it at the same time every night, about half an hour before you should be going to sleep. I try not to. It's a bit different these days because I got a boyfriend and we talk all the time. Hey, Adam. But I generally try not to engage in any interaction with anybody for the last hour or so. I have dim lights in my house. I don't do any overhead lights ever. I have lamps, etc. I try not to do any interacting with people, not even positive interactions. So no messaging, no commenting. It's hard for me these days because I'm oh, James Jackson in the house. I didn't see you. Hey, boy. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so my sleep hygiene is really important to me. I'm just that fucking tired these days. I'm not even joking. The night before last, this is where I sit to have my dinner. This is my only space to sit. It's just a bar stool. And I finished my dinner. I was so tired. And literally, I felt it with myself going, finished my last spoonful. Admittedly, it was pasta. I had spaghetti bolognese. And I literally just went, oh my God, I was fucking out. I was just like this. My neck's still sore. I woke up an hour later going, oh, what am I doing with my life? Took myself off to bed. Yikes. Sleep's important. I'm fucking tired. Yay, Ruthie. So, yeah, really, if you have a shit sleep all the time, there's so many things. I don't have I have 1 cup of coffee a day, yeah? Because if I have another cup of coffee, and I have it quite strong, if I have a second cup, I guarantee you my sleep will be shitty that night, even if I'm not going to bed until 12 hours later. And I have all dim lights in my house. Put your screen, if you're watching something, put your screens, turn the brightness down, dark mode, not light mode. So many things you can do to curate your sleep hygiene and your schedule. This is separate to depression, but these things help if you're in grieving as well. It's like anything in life. Like, good sleep doesn't just happen unless you're out there working, standing up all day, outside doing manual labor with heaps of shit to do. But even still, it's like a relationship. It's like a job. It's like a hobby. It's like, self-worth, self-improvement and development. But saving, it doesn't just happen. Same with good sleep. It's really important to make sure you're doing everything you can in your sleep hygiene to make it as healthy as possible. So yeah, pro tip from a girl 50 almost, who has struggled over the years with getting quality sleep. My brain is always going, yeah, I'm a lucid dreamer, so I do everything I can. Here we go. What do we got? Focus on nutritious food, daily exercise, however that looks for you. Don't think, I'm going to go out and go for a 5K run or 5-mile run if you've never run before. But if you're walking around the block once slowly, taking the dog out or playing with the cats outside or something, all helps. Being in nature, Touching grass with your feet. I'm not a big barefoot person at all, but if you are, that can really help. What do we got? Acceptance and hope. Hey, we're getting there. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, y'all. Acceptance. The acceptance and hope stage of the grief process signifies a turning point. Wait, can I pause there? Remember at the beginning, I kind of stressed quite heavily that these are not linear. These are not, okay, 1, shock, 2, denial, 3, bargaining. It's not like that. These it can be a mixture. You might feel one for a couple of days, and then you might be stuck in another stage for what feels like an eternity. You might go back. So these are fluid and organic, and so but usually I do feel like once you get to this point, there's not too much of the, you probably won't get back to shock or denial, not in any real way. Maybe a little bit of it, but all right. So it signifies a turning point where we can begin to come to terms with our loss, and see a future beyond our grief. Absolutely. It might take a long time. It might not take long at all. But when you can suddenly see a light at the end of the tunnel, God, that's so wow. It's just so inspiring. It spurns you on to keep going towards that light at the end of the tunnel. Oh my Jesus, what was that? Sorry. My laptop, my brand new MacBook, just told me I've averaged 2 hours and 36 hours of screen time this week daily. I'm like, oh, have you seen my phone? I think you'll find it's an average of 24 hours a day screen time. Not even kidding. Jesus. All right. In this stage, there is a recognition of the reality of the loss. And although the pain may still be present, it becomes more manageable. Absolutely. It's like what they say. You've gone through all these, it's like time, water under the bridge. Time does not heal all wounds, but time, and all you can do is wait time and be as sort of proactive through the grieving process, to understand and trust and know that it does get better. I know that's verging on toxic positivity, but it really does. But you're not going to get to acceptance and hope without time and water under the bridge, and without going through all of these previous stages in varying degrees. In this stage, we can start to find ways to move forward. We might also experience a renewed sense of purpose to find new interests and activities that bring joy and fulfillment. You might suddenly think, oh my God, I'm going to go watch a band. I'm going to go, I don't know, go for a bike ride. I'm going to read a book. Yeah, I feel like reading a book again. Like maybe I'll watch my favorite TV show. I haven't watched a movie in forever, that stuff. We might also experience a renewed sense of purpose or find new interests and activities that bring joy and fulfillment. Hope emerges as we start to see the possibility of a future that, while different, can still be positive. It's like the new normal, yeah? Like after COVID. I mean, God, haven't I not even mentioned COVID? After all the BS of COVID, and that was tough, man. That was heavy. And I was homeless, living in my car then. Like, fuck, tough, heavy. And then when we came out the other end of it, I mean, it's kind of not still, but it was like, okay, so this is the new normal, yeah? New normal. Paint? What were you painting? Jeez, I came in on that at the wrong end. All right, here we go. Acceptance and hope mark the beginning of emotional healing, allowing us to rebuild our lives while honoring the memory of what we have lost. Be okay with relying on the people around you. We are those people. If you have other people, we can be your additional people. If you have no one, we are your people. I am your people. We are. Camp Shorty. It's a safe place for us. For me, this was my parents, not me, the author. Not me. My parents can eat a bag of dicks. Remember that everything is just temporary and that things always get better in the end. Oh, because they always do. Lady, you were doing so well there, and then she gets that toxic positivity vibe rolling in there. I do not concur. I mean, things do get better, but fuck off saying that. No one needs to hear that. I mean, maybe. Acceptance and hope. Surround yourself with the people who care about you and love you. For me, this was my parents. No, again, no, not for me. But if you are blessed with lovely, supportive parents, Stan, thrilled for you. Can you adopt me? I remind myself that it is what it is. Ta-da! Again, I haven't read this. This has helped me move into accepting the situation. Accepting doesn't mean we have to be okay with the loss, but that we have begun to rebuild our lives and live with the emotional pain. Bravo. All right, what do we got? Moving on, just making sure Como hasn't messaged me again. Oh my God, I'm going to cut a bitch. All right, so pretend that there's no stream schedule for now because apparently it's not happening. I should get James Jackson on instead. Processing. The processing stage of grief is a pivotal point where we can actively work through our emotions, thoughts, and experiences related to a loss. During this stage, we can engage in introspection, so important in life, not just in grief, reflection and expression to make sense of our grief. We might revisit memories, confront unresolved feelings, and seek understanding about the impact of the loss. Processing involves acknowledging and accepting the full range of emotions, from sadness to anger and guilt, to guilt and longing, while gradually integrating these feelings into our sense of self. This stage often involves seeking support from others, whether through therapy, support groups, trusted friends and family members, to navigate the complexities of grief. It's a very complex emotion. Yikes. By processing grief, we can begin to find meaning and purpose in the loss. So I always, even from the outset, for me, I felt like my husband dying, and he looked like please forgive me, not trying to be sacrilegious or blasphemous, but he even looked a bit like Jesus. Yeah, he was 27, young like Jesus Christ when he was killed. He had a beard, long hair, so it looked like the Anglo versions of Jesus in today's iconography for the Christian religion. Blah. Why are we talking religion? Anyway, so I used to always, and his family were very Catholic, and I used to always, even very soon, I was highly aware that I would not have become the person I became had Robert still been alive. Like I just wouldn't have. I would have stayed like I was a bit of a brat. Yeah, I was a bit of a brat. Can't picture it. Huh? I was. I'm an only child, and I know without a doubt I would have never become who I've become today had he lived. And I mean that's the ultimate sacrifice, right? Donuts. Oh my God. Nosy Rosie, you're not going to 34 Fairview with donuts, are you? Tell me. Tell me you're not. Lynn. Hey, babe. Mwah, I love you, girl. So good to see my OGs. I love you guys. Ruthie as well. So I love all of you. I love newies, OGs, and everyone in between. Lurkers, sometimes viewers, replay crew, live crew. You all are amazing. Honestly, I couldn't be happier. This is just the most incredible community we've got going on here. I'm so blessed. I'm so happy. I'm so happy, which is interesting when we're talking about grief. I've been through it. We've all been through it. All right, what do we got here? By processing, yes. Okay, I went through that. Sorry. So this lady said that she found, and this is true, that grieving isn't linear and that the stages can sometimes come and go. When thoughts or emotions come up that she thought were gone, I remind myself that that's okay, and that there, and that there, whoa, girl, and that there might be a small part of me that still needs to heal. And get an editor. I'm patient with myself. I remind myself that the sad feelings will pass eventually. Well, abate, ease, lessen in intensity. You'll still have sad moments. And she relies on her family and friends for support. Well, that's what we're doing. Yes. Okay. So yes, I think it was can't remember who said it in the beginning. Was it Nosy Rosie? No, Dr. Kubler-Ross. Thank you, lady, even for the typos. So there's that. So what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Love your face, Lynn. Best. Miss Shorty. See, I'm a fucking delight, yeah? Sometimes I'm crazy and other times I'm serious, but I'm always real. Yeah. Grief changes you forever. Yes, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. But there can be a new normal, right? What do we got here? I like this live chat. Lol, it was good for me. Thank you. Ernie, you know I love you very much. You are one of my favorite people in the world. And just that. I'm always here for you, girl. And this is a good place. I'm a good grief host. Good grief. Oh, you funny girl. Real is the only way to be, right, Sharon? So Sharon is the amazing, and oh my God, I still haven't managed to get into that Dropbox. I swear I have tried. I might need to get Adam to help me work it out. Sharon is our organizer in Hobart for the Karen Reid standouts. Sharon probably did, I think Sharon did a better job than I did at my Melbourne standout, but not comparing at all. So Sharon and I are going to be continuing to push for Australia and the world on the 10th of November. It's the next standout. It's not necessarily only about Free Karen Reid. It's about alerting people and getting people to open their eyes that corruption is a thing and that people are being taken advantage of around the world and stomped down. Elizabeth Brady. Get the book Finding Meaning by David Kessler. Lost my husband to cancer at age 48. That's good advice. Thank you. Hey, Adam, could you please clip that and we'll drop a link in the description box afterwards, if that's all right, for that book, Finding Meaning by David Kessler. Thanks, Adam. You're the best. Candy Temple, thank you for covering this important topic. Yeah, my pleasure. We're going to do another one, at least another one, because I think this is really important. James Jackson, who was in the chat before, I'm not sure if he's still here. His girlfriend, his partner, and he spoke of this publicly, so I think I'm okay to say it. I think it was her anniversary. It was less than a year ago, about 11 months. I think it was November. Passed away suddenly. So I would actually I wanted to go through this 7 stages of grief solo, just so that we could go through it. But then I thought I might, and I've had other people reach out. So like the addiction series, which isn't done yet, we'll do more. And someone reached out to me again about doing another addiction episode. I've so many. I can't do this peasant work shit anymore. Yeah. I can't. I got to just be a YouTuber. But James Jackson, I actually asked him if he might be interested in coming on to, because he's less than a year and I'm like 21 years, and we both lost our significant other, our partner, our love of our lives. So that could be coming up in the next little while. Lynn, I've lived with grief every day of my life except for the first 3. I know nothing else and it never goes away. You just negotiate your relationship with it over the years. Yeah, I agree. And it comes up on you sometimes like unexpectedly, right? And like something will just get you. Like there'll be times when like I don't often, if ever, really, no, not if ever, often. I rarely shed tears for Robert these days because it's been so long. But there'll be times when suddenly, and it'll be out of the blue, nothing even, maybe it's just one little thing will just remind me, and I'll just suddenly get my tears will well up in my eyes, and yeah, just quit your day job. Look, Ernie, thank you. Update on my housing situation, right? So my fuckhead landlord just cracked it because I asserted boundaries, and he said I was evicted. Yeah, actually, what's today? It's today. I was supposed to be evicted, and then and I was like, well, that's not happening. But okay, and I stressed about it for 2 months. He gave me 2 months notice, and then he was overseas for a while. So I was just like in denial. I was in denial. No bargaining, just denial. Like, oh, this isn't happening. I can't deal with this. I'm going to do YouTube instead. And then he messaged me one day this week, or maybe it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and said, I'll need the key back. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I haven't been able to find somewhere else to live. So I'll give you the next month rent on Sunday. And he goes, make it 1,800 because I was paying 1,500. I'm like, yep, done. Sweet. Cash money. Problem went away. Oh, Ernie. Beautiful girl. Thank you. So that crisis has been averted. I can stop stressing. And anyway, I'm not going to be here much longer anyway, right, Adam? Adam and I have a plan. Yes. It feels like a tidal wave. Yes. Comes out of nowhere. Yeah. Been wondering about your living. There you go, Ruthie. Yeah, I didn't talk about it because I didn't need anyone going, like, because anytime I did mention it, people would be like, well, are you going to start looking for a place? And I'd be like, no, I'm not. And I'm, what do you mean you're not looking for a place? I'm like, well, I just can't. I actually cannot. Too triggering. And I think maybe, I don't know, Ruthie, maybe I'm going to, yeah, see, Adam knows all of that. So I didn't want to really talk about it because I didn't need people like kind of like, come on now, you got to look for a place. I'm like, oh, I actually can't. It's impossible to explain how triggering, how distressing. I actively decided instead to go balls deep with my YouTube content instead. And so the weekend I should have started looking for a place to live. I started live streaming because isn't that what adults do? I'm like a fucking proper grown up, right? All righty. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You better get a bigger van though, Adam. Helen's not big enough. Ernie, if you got to hide, Ernie, that's cool. But we're here for you, okay? Well, anyway, thank you so much, everybody. I think we'll wrap it. I'm going to do I'm not, obviously John Como stood me up, so fine, whatever, got it. I'm not even mad. I've got other stuff to talk about. But we're going to do the next round of Donna Adelson trial prep. So I did a couple of hours yesterday. If you missed it, last night it was late. Buster.
Bussy.
Say hi, Bussy. Big boy. And Poppy, not big, smaller. More annoying though. See you on the next one. Yes, Ruthie. So we will do, I don't know, I might just reschedule. I'll bring back, I don't know if you're all probably going to go and watch Aiden, Turtle Boy. I'm a little bit, I got other things to put in my brain at the moment. I've got other stuff. So I'm not right into the Karen Reid at the moment, not for my activism, but for content. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a bit done. Make sure you subscribe to Adam Drives Helen. Amazing. Sorry. Wow. Should have mentioned it. So good. So good lives. So good video content. He's a videographer and a filmmaker and a land pirate and my boyfriend. So I sent you an email. Thanks, Laurie. Amazing. I'll check it out. I will check it out because I'm not live streaming again now for a little while. I'll put it, I think I made it for like 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the next one. Thank you everyone for being here. I love your faces. I love you. We're all family. Yeah. Reach out to any of us. Jump in my Discord, Adam's Discord. Email me. Mwah. Love your face. Bye. Bye. Actually, you know what? I'm going to play the song because, yeah, wait. You don't have to listen, but I will be because obviously. Melissa Asylum, follow her too. Amazing. This song, I can't get enough. I sing the whole fucking thing. Excuse my language. Oh, she says, excuse my language after she swore like a trooper the whole way through. Too funny. I'm funny. I am funny. I think so. No. Did I do it? Oh my God, I'm not real proficient, am I? Jesus. I did it. Okay, wait. Press play.
Worst. I'm the worst YouTuber you've ever met.
The United States and Australia are sister lands. All around the globe, we are holding hands. Plymouth Rock to Botany Bay, colonists hope for a better way. Sydney Opera House to Broadway, a testament of who we are today. Those still have rent to pay, we still have rent to pay. Aintree Park to Honolulu, Utah Arches to Uluru, Bourbon Street Jazz to didgeridoos, our kinship is deep and true. This is how we begin to start atoning for our sin by creating new expectations for our blemished nations. The Great Barrier Reef to Grand Canyon, from the Everglades to Billabongs, the Cloud Queen cares about everyone. The roller coaster ride is only just begun. This is her cry, debunk, demystify, destigmatize, uniting USA and Oz. Uniting USA and Oz. The world is her battleground, her bubble roller coaster goes around, calling all nations with her horn. She is a shooting star out of Melbourne. Miss Shorty is a shooting star out of Melbourne. Shorty connects and unites, debunking all the lies. She leads us in our fight. She's a fucking delight. Grizzly bears eat hikers who are in a rush, and Aussie dingoes steal babies in the bush. The damn beavers live in the brooks, and so does the weird-ass platypus. From Bondi Beach to Miami, Adelaide Hills to Napa Valley, from Kosciuszko to Colorado Snow, Lady Gaga to Kylie Minogue. Miss Shorty connects and unites, our citizens should be made right. She leads us in our fight, she's a fucking delight. This is her cry, debunk, demystify, destigmatize, uniting USA and Oz. Uniting USA and Oz. The world is her battleground, her bubble roller coaster goes around, a shooting star out of Melbourne, calling all nations on her bullhorn.